Here he comes, everybody. Maybe not. False alarm. It's proper Wignat hours here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know if you can hear it. I don't have my good mic with me today, so you might not be able to hear it. A double bank holiday, or is it just our welfare Wignats? I don't know, dudes. I don't know, but the party's carried on from yesterday, and we're now into Bigwig MC Dave on the decks, dude. Banging, aye. So everybody, and apologise right from the outset if you any trouble with the audio here. I've tried to pump it up in the post-processing, dude. You know all that time I spend afterwards for these standalone videos. It's been a slow news week, I'm not going to lie, but one of the things I've been wanting to comment upon is a bit of internet drama involving the old guard of the distant right, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Colin Liddell and Andy Nowicki. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my sad duty to inform you and the rest of the world here, right here, that the long time working relationship, collaboration between Andy Nowicki, father of the school shooter fiction, and Colin Liddell, father of the brutal criticism of his own circle, really, has come to an end, ladies and gentlemen. It is no more. Now I know what you're asking, who the fuck is Colin Liddell and Andy Nowicki? Well, that's because you're not up to speed on the law like I am. So let me fill you all in. Back in the olden days, the distant right started out essentially with Richard Spencer and with a site called alternativeright.com. No, that's not altright.com. It's alternativeright.com, and I might be getting all these details mixed up or muddled up, but essentially my heart's in it, so it's in good faith, so it's the intention's right, okay, even if the details are a bit mixed up. But anyway, Richard Spencer, back in the day, he started alternativeright.com, and he needed a little help, dudes, because he's not that into writing. We're still waiting for a book, Richard. Okay, you can make out you edit these books and that, but I've heard you just post them off to some dude in Thailand and he does it for you. I don't know if that's true, but anyway, Richard Spencer, he needed some help, so he brought on board Colin Liddell and Andy Nowicki. Andy Nowicki, famous for school shooting porn fiction, and Colin Liddell, famous for being a bit of a moody Scotsman, basically, like they all are, really. It comes with the cold weather up there, I think. If you looked out of your window every morning and you saw howling gales, dude, well, first, you'd be a moody bastard, and second, you'd probably want to fuck off to Asia, to Japan, like Colin eventually did. So all these things factor in to whatever reason, how it all worked out. It's all funky dunky. I don't know the actual details, but Colin Liddell and Andy Nowicki, Andy based in America and Colin based in Japan, but still carrying on his moody vibe there. They were the three sides of the alternative right triangle. and they began this website that I never got to see it. It was a bit before my time, so I'm going on law. I'm reciting a law here. This is where it all came from. They started this website back in the day, something like 2010 or 11, when barely any of you were still in diapers. They started this website there, alternativeright.com. Richard Spencer needed help with the writing, so they brought on board Andy Nowicki from America, their school shooter, porn, fiction writer extraordinaire, and Colin Liddell, moody Scotsman, saw the light, got the yellow fever, off to Japan. Who can blame him? Those were the critical three sides of the triangle of alternativeright.com. They got it going, dudes. They're responsible for all this mess. All of them. That's it, dude. It's Colin Liddell, Richard Spencer and Andy Nowicki who are responsible for this whole mess right here. But we've got to let them off the hook, because at least back then you couldn't see it coming. For a time it was a jolly old good read, good vibe, good scene, big tent, big vibes. It got a scene going, so we must always remember them in our hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Always have a soft spot for each of the three characters here. So where did I get to there? I just got unfortunately distracted because there was a bird with a dog, and so we had a little chit chat, dudes. I didn't film her ass this time, because I'm maturing basically. So anyway, where were we? Colin Liddell, Richard Spencer and Andy Nowicki. The three sides of an equilateral triangle. Fathers of the alt-right, basically. And for that, we hold them in our hearts. Richard Spencer, he did the dirty on Colin Liddell and Andy Nowicki when he decided there weren't really any go left in alternativeright.com, or he just forgot to pay for the re-registration of the website. Whatever the truth is there, dude, I'm not exactly sure about the law. But anyway, unbeknownst to Colin Liddell and Andy Nowicki, he pulled the site from under them. And Andy Nowicki and Colin Liddell have kind of had a hate boner about this ever since, understandably in my opinion. But they went off and they formed the unfortunately hosted blogspot site alternativeright.blogspot.com there, dudes. Now, if I was to give somebody some advice, I'd just advise them not to do that. I'd advise them to just get anything else really. .com, .live, .meathead, anything, but post it on a .blogspot really. But you can't win them all. You can't win them all, can you? So they continued, and for a long time it was a essentially a bit of a mediocre sideshow, but it maintained a cult status and presence on the distant right. Unfortunately, I think Colin and Andy would agree that it got overshadowed by the fanfare, the metrosexualization of the dissident right by Richard Spencer, and also just the fact that discourse, or entertaining discourse, really heavily shifted in 2014-15, probably due to Sargon, let's blame him, from written blog posts, written text on a screen. Plus all the screens were shitty back then, weren't they? So it's really difficult to carry like one of those LCD monitors around with you everywhere if you just want to read something. So we didn't have funky dunky phones, futuristic little flat screens that we can put in our pockets back then, did we? So it suffered from bit of a problem like that. But anyway, I'm rambling here. The Distant Right really took off in video format on YouTube. So they were a bit overshadowed. They were a bit behind the curve, a bit like a Kodak camera as the digital photograph cameras came on board. Can't blame them for it. They carried on with what they knew best. Anyway, in summary, they carried on the website without Richard Spencer there. And Richard Spencer went more into the video fed posting world, essentially. And then in real life fed posting world, and then that came to a steaming dump, basically. But recently, in recent weeks, I noticed Colin Liddell, he decided to shut down the unfortunately hosted alternativeright.blogspot.com and moved to a new, unfortunately hosted neocrat.blogspot.com site there. And I thought there was something funky dunky about it at the time. I'm not going to lie. I thought it might be, I thought it was a bit odd just to do a crash rebrand, but sometimes it's a good idea just to shake it up, move along, get away from stale old ideas, especially after renaming it to the unfortunately named and unfortunately hosted affirmativeright.blogspot.com a few months or a year ago. And I like Neocrat, dude, I like it. I like the idea. It's still got the 2010 vibe to the side there. Dude, I just had to pause again, didn't we, dude? Because the lady, she doubled back round. Like, accidentally on purpose to bump into us again. I don't know what to tell you, incels, but that's what happened, dude. You've either got it or you haven't, basically, isn't it? But I do need to finish my story. Anyway, Colin shut down his site with Andy Nowicki a few weeks ago. And it's sad news, but I've not even got to the exciting part yet. Colin Liddell, I don't think he'd said anything bad about Andy Nowicki publicly that I'm aware of. I could be wrong about this. I don't want to take a side, although I suppose I'd naturally take Colin's side because he's made an effort to promote me and he always ignored my comments, the mardy bastard. But I was never too favourable about Flat Earth and Mandela effects. And I'm not really into shooter porn, so there might be something to that. Anyway, what do I want to say about this? They've fallen out. They've had a big falling out. I don't think Colin threw the first stone, but I might be biased. But Andy has retaliated. He's calling Colin Liddell a Russian shill, a warmonger supporter. I think not a warmonger. I think he's calling him a warmonger apologist or something like that. Cooking a little on that Andy there. Just call him a warmonger if you're going to do it, isn't it? It's the same thing, but with like a caveat cook, isn't it? Just go full on, Andy, dude. Come on, let's have it. Let's have it. Tell us all the secrets. We need to know all Colin's dirty secrets now.
How is it fake? And how is it cowardly? What's fake about it, Colin Liddell? Really? Colin Liddell, do you support the United Kingdom, your home nation? Do you support them? Do you support the elites, the establishment, taking millions of pounds, tens of millions of pounds? I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. And it's a lot here, too, in the United States as well, and in Canada and every other Western country that's sending the Ukrainians money for guns and bombs to perpetuate this war, to keep this war going. Are you saying that you support that? You support your elected officials neglecting to address all the many things that need to be addressed within Western countries, and instead taking that money and shooting it on over to so that the Azov battalion can be well stocked with Kalashnikovs and whatnot. Is that what you're saying? Do you think that Western governments pouring millions and millions and millions...
Let the laundry out, dude. You're already spitting fire. That is a warmonger, a shill. He's gone full Richard Spencer, basically. This is what Andy Nowicki is saying about Colin Liddell, dude.
But Liddell recently, especially over the last couple of years...
But I would say this has been a trend that's been going on with him, for maybe the last 4 or 5 years. Ever since he decided to change the name of his site from... Well, it was his site. It became his site. He and I were sharing editing duties, and then I sort of kicked it all over to him to do the editing because I wanted to focus more on a different kind of writing, mainly my fiction writing. I didn't have the same kind of energy to just write about, the passing scene, or, ooh, this current event, that current event, isn't this interesting, or isn't this outrageous, and are we all up in arms about?
Liddell, I would say, I don't know him that well, but my impression of him is that he is someone, as the narrator of Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground says, I am a spiteful man. He says he says several things of himself. I'm a sick man. I am a spiteful man. I think there's something wrong with my liver. I'm not going to say that Colin Liddell is sick or that there's anything wrong with his liver, but I think the second thing there, I am a spiteful man, applies very well to Colin Liddell. My impression of him is that he is a man who's essentially motivated by his spite, and his spite takes him where he wants to go, and he follows it faithfully. His spite is his muse, and at some point in time along the way, Colin Liddell developed this hatred for the alternative right scene, or the dissident right scene, generally speaking. With a few exceptions here or there, but mostly he just came to think that it was all just bogus and full of people who were essentially worthless.
And he's miffed. He's not happy. He's not a happy boy. So I don't know what's gone on in the background, behind closed doors. Did they have fisticuffs? Did Colin invite Andy over to Japan and he got refused entry at the border? I've seen the Japs there with the placards saying, get the fuck out, baldies, and all that kind of thing. They're pretty insular over there, so I don't know what's happened. It's sad though. All 3 spokes of the triangle have fallen and split apart now. It's a sad time, but you could probably see it coming. And that's about it really. I'm sorry it wasn't really useful information. I don't know the inside story. Just thought I'd ruminate on the drama. Oh yes, that's right. Colin's fired a short article back. It takes about 1 minute or 30 seconds to read. Just in response to Andy Nowicki firing a full broadside at Colin. Well, half a broadside, a warmonger supporter or whatever. Calling him a Russophobe. Apologising for the neoliberal warmongering world order. In a 20-minute rant. Colin did this 1 minute response, and Andy's done another 20-minute reading of it, saying it's outrageous, but it doesn't bother me, but I honestly, dudes, I like it, but I wasn't expecting that, I wasn't expecting him to go there. Whew. I think all Colin said is Andy's like this divorced guy who's losing his mind, mentally ill, who thinks that South America's being hidden by global elite lizard people, and that's fairly accurate description, I'm not going to lie. But Andy read it out, so it's quite comical. I'll endeavour to put a link to Colin's website, which is absent now, of Andy Nowicki. We'll not get any Andy Nowickis over there. We're not, unfortunately, going to get any more articles on chemtrails, dude, flat earth, school shooting, erective porns, fiction reviews, incel music, Mandela effects, and all that stuff. Basically, we're not going to get it, and that's sad, because I like all these big characters, and is certainly a big character, and that's the state of play, ladies and gentlemen, all over the place, wasn't it? Anyway, I'm going to try and put the links to Andy, Colin's website, neocrat.blogspot.com, or whatever it's called, in the description to this video, dudes. Alright, that's been a ramble. Later, everybody. Say later, dude. Woof. And I got back just in time, didn't I? Got back just in time, dude. Thanks for watching my videos, everybody. I appreciate you.